Hello, everybody, and welcome to another stream. Glad to be back after a quick vacation. Hey, Raji, welcome. Twix, hello. And yeah, some updates from this week. I didn't get to do as much as I was hoping for. Just some things to do around the house. UDRs, welcome. But I did manage to continue some of the work on the town area, and I wanted to share some of the progress on that, and maybe we'll do a little bit of 3D modeling today and some some level design. From a mechanic standpoint, one thing that I shown in maybe I don't know last stream was that the fact that I was working on merging some of the meshes, and mostly they were focused around this area, which resulted in a decrease in the number of actors. The the issue that I ran into was mostly after that was a lot of stalls. Like right now it's just six, which is a good number for my project at the moment. But after merging all these meshes, I ended up with some pretty big size. At least one of these was one mesh, and that turned out to be very performance um, crazy, I guess, or like, it brought the performance down a lot. And not necessarily it was like on like load times and especially when I was loading into this level, it took forever and it was trying to process the meshes. I'm not sure if it's also an editor thing or if I had to convert that to nanite, which in turn has its own issues or issues like, you know, drawn performance issues is what I'm saying. So I reverted back to this level being just with the actors, and I'll think about different ways of optimizing it. Maybe with HLODs, I'll see. Um, so yeah, that's one of the updates, and uh, right now, like flying around the level, it moves a lot quicker than before using even with the larger amount of actors. So I'm still debating whether that was like helping with performance or not. So yeah, you will notice there's a couple of different buildings around this area. I've kind of started to create some points where you'll be able to interact with some of the NPCs in the world and get in touch with them um, through some of these like kind of just little um, access ways, access points. I'm not sure what you would call them. Um, so yeah, we'll take a look at that and walk around a little bit. Yeah, and UDRs, I'll jump into game here real quick. There's not going to be a lot of stuff going on because this is just a area that's being worked on. So, awesome, bro. Oh yeah, the problem when you merge meshes is the amount of materials and that's true. Exactly. That's a big um, that's definitely right. So. And that's exactly what I'm gonna end up doing, like your suggestions, maybe just the pack level actors. And I use instance meshes as much as I can. So for some of those like industrial buildings, it does have a ton of pieces to it, so it doesn't really work with instance meshes as well. But hey, Nikita, welcome. What's going on? All right, so yeah, let's jump into game mode real quick. There's, like I said, there's just kind of walking around some of this new area to see it from the kind of the player perspective. But so yeah, let's see. This is kind of the new building here. It actually comes from a Sketchfab asset, and of course I'm gonna have that um, well, not all of it, the front part of it, like this white part comes from a Sketchfab asset, and I was I kind of merged that in with with my own uh, 3D modeling. We'll look at that and just put it into the world. Are you using the landscape assets from the marketplace? So the landscape itself. Oh, hey, hey, Jenny Tokyo. Okay, good to have you. Yeah, I know people change their nicknames, so sometimes might see new ones, but might be just the old people that are here. So welcome. Awesome, bro. Are you using landscape assets from the marketplace? Yeah. Well, yes. So let's not fully, but this entire like this height map that you would see around here. And let me just walk around here a little bit, and I'll fly around for a little bit for you. Yeah, so I've played around a little bit with kind of getting some of these buildings in place, trying to play around with the textures to get them working as well. Like for example, this building was a lot of fun to do, kind of just some of the small details. Maybe not the pipe overlaying on top of the door. That's not really what it's supposed to be. But kind of adding the pipes, the trim at the top, the door at the entrance here. It's not enterable, so the buildings are not enterable just yet. But and then kind of creating these that I've had before. Adding the escape ladders, this little basement area here. Of course, there's nothing there at the moment, but yeah, kind of the back side of the building as well. Some of the entry points, if I so decide for some of these buildings to be enterable, and kind of the back of the buildings. And the motel is right here, if you recall. Um, so yeah, that's some of the work as far as the building stuff goes, and so that's kind of just played around with placing some of the sidewalks as well, with a little bit of the uh, parking spaces here next to this building. You'll see there's a little bit of flashing. I've changed one of the materials to be, instead of a decal, to be masked. So we'll adjust that as well. Alien with the duck. Yeah, and I was trying to I only have so many of these assets. So yeah, that's an alien with a ducky. But alien bro, for the landscape, the main area here, like this one, the landscape height map itself comes from uh I believe it's called Desert Hills Landscape. And the reason that I chose it is because it has kind of and that's just that's just the outer stuff here. Everything else in here, it was a combination of, well, not anymore. It's not so much of a combination because that's completely trash. So I sculpted most of this in here, but yeah, this is a marketplace. Like I said, I believe it's called there's a desert landscape, and so I imported that in here, turned it into a world partition map, and like I said, the reason for it is that it's got this surrounding mountains kind of thing, limiting the area, or so the player knows that it's kind of that's how far the area goes. But yeah. Uh, so let's see. So hopefully that answers your question. That's let's move a little slower here. And yes, the kind of notice the twigs again, the alien with duck. And yeah, I felt that was kind of a funny graffiti as well, and I did like that. But yeah, there's only so many that I have, and I don't want to overuse them anyways. But yeah, let me adjust the placement of this a little bit so it's not like right on top of the door. All right. So yeah, the town is I'm still keeping it within these limits that I've had before. It's just kind of finishing off these buildings. Like for example, this one over here, I'm not really filling yet. So this one I'll probably remove it and replace it with this type of a setup, which is a lot simpler uh, from a modeling aspect, being able to, like, you will see these ones are not complete just yet, but being able to add the decals around, around the trim. Um, Placement is also easier. Like these are two separate buildings, so I've just kind of joined them together to create this little basement entrance area down here. And yeah, everything else is pretty much the same. The main thing, like I said, is reverting that level where I merged a ton of those big assets, these big buildings into one, um, and reverting it to just individual assets uh, helped a lot with performance. Like with the freezes that I had, I was thinking what could have happened, and right around that time is where I did the merging of those meshes, and that's when everything just kind of went kafui. All right. Well, let's jump into some of the work. We'll take a look at Blender, some of the ways that I have these buildings made, and if anybody's interested in seeing at least what I do, it might not be the best way to do things, but at least that's how I do them. I'm pretty happy with how the buildings turn out, and they're pretty easy to create new ones and extend from them. And definitely some of the meshes could be done a lot better. Like for example, these parts around the windows, I mean the walls themselves. Like right now, they're a little bit messy, as you can tell. But yeah, I mean, ideally would be something like this. So, but these came off of uh, particularly this side of the window itself. Uh, I was trying to like make it modular so I can build multiple of them, resize them and uh, create create different buildings. Like for example, I've created these bays out of those windows so that if I'm not sure if I've shown, but I can easily add them to the back side of the building like this to add a little bit more of a variety in the shape of it. And yeah, and now it's just not doesn't have the materials applied. So maybe let's quickly do that here since we're looking at this. I'm gonna try and add some textures to these or texture materials. So first, let me grab. I'm gonna try and use this the siding here. Nope, not there, but here. And there's some. I think this was originally made for like brick because I have this little. As you can see, it's not visible here, but it's this little thing right on top of the windows. Hey Miles, welcome, welcome. How are you? So I'm thinking maybe I'll keep that as, let's try plaster, and I'll add this to the top here. And I'll use the plaster from this building to place it here. Oh, that's good. Good to have you. Good to have you. Welcome. All right, so let's try and paint out the. some of the details around here. There we go, kind of like that. And I'm gonna add the roof material like that. There we go. And we might need to fix a few things around here. I did kind of like the siding, to be honest, on this. So let's adjust, let's fix some of this stuff here. We'll play around with some of the UVs and let's see if we can fix things up. There we go. That's a much better unwrap. At least I thought it was. I'm trying to align them with this as best as I can. All right, let's re-export this. And bay. All right, here we go. Let's try again with the siding material. See how that looks. I need to tile it a little bit less. And trying to think of these vertical portions, if they're usually, I think they're still like going side to side. So let's increase the tiling a little bit here. There we go, that's better. And I do like the having a little bit of a different material than the brick, of course. I mean, wouldn't be, I think from a building perspective, wouldn't be too feasible to have a brick on this little extended bay here. Hey, Gitish, welcome, welcome. And the one thing that I'm still thinking of, these are like actually really cool. These like worn wooden beams that I can use them around corners, and I've kind of made use of them quite a bit, especially like for example here, just as a support for this and adding some decals around them, breaks up the surface as well. I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. It's good to be back. Uh, had a had a quick vacation, which was good. Um, what can I say? Highly recommend vacations sometimes. But yeah, so I was hoping that let's see if I can use this for like the edges of this outcropping, whatever you might call this, like a bay. I'm not sure what the construction term for one of these structures would be, but I want to see if I can use this as a just to add the edges to it to see if it helps break things up a little bit. Oh, balcony. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's uh that's what I was thinking. Thank you. Yes. So I want to see if this one and I think it already looks better having some of these pieces, go around here. it breaks up the kind of the edges of this, and I think it does much better than just none. And I'm thinking at the same time, let's remove this. And we use these as the supports. That's why they're here. Just like so. Yeah, I think that's gonna be a little bit better. I'll just remove these from here. So yeah, the next, from a mechanic standpoint, what I was hoping to, just didn't get around to do this week, was for the enemy to actually make him, give, have them use the rifle, like the machine gun, the yeah, so the rifle instead of their fists. So as long as they got, and most of that mechanic I already have in place. I just need to add it to the AI behavior tree. So basically, when the enemy sees you, they start firing at you. If they run out of bullets, they would probably equip a pistol. Run out of bullets on that, then they might attempt the fist fight. It's a fist fight. But yeah, I mean, realistically speaking, in video games, you would see the enemies kind of attacking you with, you know, with a rifle or some kind of like a machine gun or something. Hey, Maxim, welcome, welcome. No, this is not a new city. This is the city that I've had before. It's just trying to add the finishing touches to it. Kind of these buildings, finishing them off as far as texturing, like the texture, the decals around it. This flashing thing will fix right away. But kind of the some of the back alleys behind them, some of these entry points around here, kind of the back faces of the buildings as well. So just trying to make them look a little bit more, you know, put together, I guess. Hey, Rosie, welcome, welcome. Hello. So I think, having these little support posts definitely, I think it made it look better because it doesn't have that the those corners that without it and with it. So yeah, there we go. In the meantime, I'm also considering, um, you know, in my model here, kind of making this corner to be of a maybe a different material, like kind of like a metal strip. Sometimes they put like a metal strip on these corners for some of these, from what I can tell. But yeah, for now, this one seems to be working just fine. And one thing that I did want to change here, and just to add a little bit more interesting, because I'm using two of these, and I've actually wanted to have them separate. And for that, what I'm going to use, and it's going to be kind of this material here, this corrugated surface. And so bear with me while I find that, and I'll add it right to the top section here. Alexander, will you return to CryEngine? No, not anytime soon. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if, um, sadly speaking, I'm not sure if the engine is going anywhere, especially for like um, indie developers. I mean, it's still free and all that, it's accessible. It's probably a fun thing for people to look at, but I mean, if you look on the market nowadays, there's no games out there made with CryEngine. I mean, I think there might be one or two from like indie people, but outside of Crytek, I don't think anybody's really using it. So unfortunately, gonna stick with Unreal. Can you show me, let's see, Rosie, can you show me the static mesh for that wooden addition? Do you mean this one here? Yeah, this one is here. So this is how it is. And what I was going to do, I was going to add this corrugated material. Let me find it real quick. Wherever that might be. Hopefully, there it goes. And I think it might be this one. So that like that. Let's try and fix the UV unwrap for this. Yeah, and that's what I'm starting to hate about the way I've done these. Uh, that they're they're great for just completely just windows and windows, but when it comes to like extending off of them, as you can tell, it does not work out so well. So what I'm gonna try and do, let me see if this is gonna work out. I'm gonna remove these. And then let's adjust these here. And since I'm doing Blender, I'm gonna turn on screencast keys because I do use a lot of shortcuts. So maybe some of these might be useful to somebody else. All right, so let's re-export this. And back in Unreal, import this base mesh. Okay, so that added a little bit of variety to that surface. Um, not sure about the red, to be honest. Let me see if I have anything else that's a little bit more, or a little bit less colorful, so to speak. I think this material can take some different tints. So let me take a look here. Albedo hue. Yes, we have that. And I'm gonna try and there we go. That's a little bit better. Maybe turn it a little bit bluish, so it's not completely mixing in with the rest of this. All right, so that's better. And for these guys, let's also adjust this default material from Quixel with my own material. One weird thing that I've noticed recently, I'm not entirely sure why, but some of the previews for my materials are just this like flat plane. Not entirely sure why that is. It's very odd. But now, since this is wood, I'm not really gonna need roughness, or at least I don't really use roughness for wood, unless it's like some kind of really um, wet or shiny type of intended to be type shiny. All right, so that's better. They blend in a little bit better with they're not it was like a really bright color for that. Hey, Any Scout, welcome, welcome. Hello, how are you doing? All right, so that's actually starting to fit in pretty well. Thank you so much. I appreciate your words. All right, so let's continue on with this building. I wanted to the couple of uh, more details, I would say, and I'm gonna do this. I'm just gonna move it to here. A couple more details would be some of the decals around the top and the bottom. They don't really follow the building as well as they should. You know, like this is, I mean, by that, what I mean is this part here, that's kind of right below this concrete separation or foundation, you would say, slab. I think it's like a concrete slab that you would like uh, build on top of, I'm guessing. Oh, any scout, is there a Discord server? Yes, there is. I think if you look in the description of the stream, I think it might be on the more. There should be a Discord invite. Let me know if you can find it. I can try and generate you one. Yeah. So what I was saying, it doesn't go around the building as best as it could because yeah, it just ends right there. Oh, perfect. Thank you so much. Uh, so let's add it to that section as well. All right, so since this is no longer a decal, I'm just gonna make it so that it like really just hovers above the surface a little bit. Rosie, no question. Why do you use Blender to create your buildings and not Unreal Engine? Well, I'm not that. I mean, I haven't really tried Unreal Engine to do any modeling, and I'm sure it's you might get used to it to some extent, but I'm not sure if it's going to be as powerful as an actual modeling tool that is meant um, for modeling stuff. That I don't and you know don't quote me on it. I am not fully sure that's you know as a fact, but it's also the do you spend the time to learn how to do it in Unreal versus doing it in something that you already know and you're I'm okay with my with how fast I can do this in Blender, and I would never be as fast as I am in Unreal, you know, trying to do this. Hey, Vidias, welcome, welcome. Yes, and so I'm resuming the streams now that I'm back from vacation, and so yeah, it's gonna be weekends. This is where you'll find me. Um, and I try to keep it. I'm just um, kind of a quick opinion from folks. If 1 p.m. works for you, like 1 p.m. my time works for everybody, then that's great because you know everybody's on different time zones and such. So I just wanted to check with folks if that's a good time. So right now is 1:36 p.m. and I usually start at 1 p.m. My time is 1 p.m. Right? So oh, Northern Light Ireland. All right, good to have you. Good to have you, Rosie. Perfect, perfect. I know that folks from that are you know farther east, they're you know different time zones, so it might be. I'm not sure if for them is like midnight. Oh, good to know. Thank you, Any Scout. All right, so I'm just adding some of the top, like some of the decals here. Do you think college is good to go to? That's a really good question. I so I did go to college. It's I went for software engineering, so this is kind of just a passion of mine, the game development. And I guess it depends on what you want to do, right? I think um, a lot of stuff that, to be honest, a lot of stuff that I do for work, what I've learned in college helped, but most of it I've learned at work. The the thing with college is, well, for starters, you get a degree, and that helps a lot when it comes to hiring. Um, though again, it depends on the job, right? But it's a really tough question. I have to be honest with you. If it's for game development, right? So for example, right now, everything that I've learned in game development, I've never done in college or um, it was just everything was self-taught, like videos on the internet, right? Looking at tutorial series, trying to, asking some friends about some concepts. The fact that I did have a software engineering education helped a lot, with the kind of the programming parts of things, right? And so I think college is overrated when it comes to like these very expensive colleges. When it comes to like a state college and things like that, I think that's I would recommend doing it because you can at least try, try to do it. Um, and of course, if you don't like it, then there's always the option to quit. But a big, I think a big part of college is creating connections, and um, and that's one of the things that I've taken from college, right? Is and that's the thing, Rosie. That's the college can get really expensive. Like if you go, especially in the States, right? I'm thinking, so right now I'm talking about the States. I'm not talking about places where education is free, right? Of which there are not that many out there anymore, anyways. But in the States, um, you kind of you kind of buy a name as well. You pay for an education at Yale, um, education at Cornell or something like that, kind of big name universities. But I know a lot of people that just went to a state college where the price is a lot cheaper, like a lot cheaper. And they had some really great experiences. Um, I think the main thing about college for me was it taught me how to learn. And at the end of college, you might not end up with all the knowledge that you want to. You might end up in a completely different job than what you went to college for, maybe. But at least in my case, it taught me how to learn. And um, so learning all these softwares, CryEngine, Unreal, I was able to do some steps that probably made it easier. I'm not sure. At least I felt that way. Um, nowadays, especially in the States, and I think all over the world, a lot of people don't do trades. Like uh, um, just to explain to folks, trades is like plumbing, like being an electrician. What else? Those are trades. And in the States, there is not that much emphasis on that anymore. And I think that's a great thing for people to do if they're so interested in that, because it's a lot less time in education, and you end up making almost just as much money if you start your own company, even more money than somebody that went to college. Um, yeah, and any Scott, that's definitely true. Um, it definitely is. So I understand, I understand both sides of the discussion, right? Uh, you know, the pros and the cons of college. I myself, I am for college, so if I was um, to recommend folks, I would recommend folks go to college. But I totally understand kind of the financial aspect of things, and what am I getting once I'm done with college. Um, I would what I usually try to say is maybe try it for a year, you know, because I've also known people that have said, okay, I'm just gonna take a gap year, like kind of finish high school and then take a gap year, and then they never went to college and they ended up in some kind of, you know, I wouldn't say dead end, but kind of dead end job, and you don't want to get stuck in that position either. So there's like a saying, strike the iron while it's hot, or like, um, hopefully that makes sense. But um, I I I wouldn't recommend like sleeping on it if you thinking of you want to try it. I would at least try it, That's the main thing about it. So yeah, kind of a long-winded answer. I um I hope that that gave you at least my opinion on it. And any scout, hopefully, um, at least my thought. That's my thought on this. Because it's one of those things that um, you don't want to um, you don't want to regret it afterwards. And 1 year in or one semester in, if you're like, you know what, this really sucks. I'm gonna do something else. Then um, better be happy than oh, I went to college. But yeah, you also have to think of um, your future, right? So I mean, the fact of the matter is, people are more likely to hire if if you have a degree. The getting your foot in the door. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's good. I'm happy that at least you got a maybe new idea, new view. Yeah. So Rosie, what are you doing with that window? Well, it's a door, and I'm trying to make it so that it like the opening itself was for a door a little bit larger than what I had for an asset, and that's the main trouble. Like I'm trying to use this. I have this package of doors, which is actually a really awesome looking package that has all these doors in it, and the opening for the front door was quite larger than than what the door is. So as you can see, I've kind of placed it right in here just to um, kind of just to test the size of it. But and now that I'm looking at it, the windows are pretty gigantic, so I'm not sure if this is gonna. This is gonna piss me off, and I'm gonna have to make the windows a little smaller because the door is kind of big. I mean, the door is kind of small, but this is exactly, why I need to bring things into the engine and then look at the scale. Yeah, so right now, if I was to jump into game mode and place the character around this, I'm willing to bet that the windows are bigger than the character. Yeah. Any scout, I'm thinking if I get a high pay job, but it always comes with dangers. But then I might retire after 2 years or something. You know, that's also a possibility, depending on where you find work. It's you can always, get a like a really high paying job and like you're saying, be able to retire early. Yeah, those are some big windows. I mean, not that I have anything against them, but they're kind of large. So yeah, that's another possibility. The uh, what my job affords me is to do this outside of work. If I um, if I had like a trade job or something like that, I have friends that have that, and at the end of the day, they're spent. Like they're not, they usually go home, maybe go for a walk and stuff, but they're extremely tired. So, you know, I'm talking about IT jobs, being able to work from home, and if you're lucky enough not to have too stressful of a job, then then you have enough gas left in the tank at the end of the day to do your hobby, like in my case, this. So that's another argument of, I would say, maybe college and yeah. VDS, did you learn blueprints just off of YouTube videos? Yeah, yeah, most of it I did. And like I mentioned before, it's mostly out of I've watched a tutorial series, like a series of making a shooter. And of course, it's an oversimplification, like, but it shows a lot of the mechanics behind it. So and you learn the blueprints and how to use blueprints for like interacting, for um, creating an inventory. Um, not sure, like, picking up a weapon, taking it out of the inventory, saving states for the game. Um, there's so many things, that you can do, and yeah, I mean, almost all of it was YouTube videos, and then just I was trying things out myself. So any scout, only reason I'm thinking no to a job like that is because my parents' friends. And yeah, I mean, trade jobs, depending on what you do, they can be, of course, they can be dangerous. But yeah, it's a tough one. Like, um, I wish, and that's at least in the States, I think it's probably that's the same thing elsewhere as well. When I was younger, they used to have like a trade classes in high school. And even like I had in middle school, like there was shop class, they would teach you how to use tools and all that. So if there's somebody that has a passion for that, they might go into trades, and that's great. Um, so at least you got the exposure, and that's what I'm saying. Going to college, you get the exposure to that as well. Um, yeah, yeah, a big CO or oil rig. Yeah, that's. I mean, I think that those are still called a trade job, but it's yeah, it's a highly dangerous trade jobs. You know, like working on um, um, you know, I think it's called a lineman. You know, people that work on electricity poles. You know, like for the city, or people that do welding on like high-rise buildings. You know, yeah, it's you know, you get a bump in pay, but it's also more dangerous. So yeah, there you go. You know, 25,000 a month is a lot, but yeah, it's dangerous. And you know, 25,000 from what I hear when it comes to working on like oil rigs, that's like high end of the this. That's like somebody that's. I think most of those they pay around 10K if I'm not mistaken. But so Rosie, I went to college studying architectural technology. I hated it. Started doing temp office work because I didn't know what I wanted to do. A company. Yeah, and yeah, there you go. That's a perfect example. And that's how a lot of you know people got their jobs. You know, it's not necessarily as I went to college for XYZ and then I'm working in XYZ. Um, what can I say? Life is complicated, right? Um, so yeah, let's see. I'm still kind of puzzled by the size of these windows. What's usually a tall window size? So I'm trying to just look at some things that uh, it might be weird, but you know, I'm looking at this as well, what's kind of window sizes, and you know they can go to like 78 inches, which is 6 feet. So it's not, I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility that this is the window size. But again, I just feel it's a little too big. Now that and mostly from the aspect of the door itself. Like I feel like so this door is already I've already scaled it up, and so it's over 2 meters tall, or I think it's probably even more at this point. And yeah, it's compared to the windows, this is kind of small. So I think maybe after the stream, I'll take a look and see if I can if I can adjust the scale of these because they do feel a little large. And also at this point, it's going to be pretty easy to now that I have kind of the overall scale of the building in place, just creating the windows, that's the easy part. It's it's getting this it seems like getting the scale right is always difficult to have. Yeah. Any scale. Let's say work for 3 to 5 years, then I might start a family or some company, and then I have hundreds of thousands of dollars I can support it with. Yeah, that's a definite possibility. And you know, I know of people that work for like Google and like Amazon, um, and you know, not starting salary, but they can get to make some really good money if you have some experience as well. It's getting the experience. I think that's the uh, that's the thing that you have to work on. Yeah, and totally. I mean, you can definitely try that as well, any scout. Yeah, see what happens in 1 year. Mhm. All right. So now this one is almost. I said that I wanted to actually fix um, this thing here. So let's go about fixing this real quick. And like I said, offline, I'm gonna go about and fix the windows because usually, from my understanding, is that with with the windows, the way they're sometimes they're set up is like this. They start at the top of the door. So basically, this will go down to about here. And the window itself, let me adjust this top part here. Um, then the window itself would be like this. Let's try and see if this was gonna make things look a little bit in more of a kind of a better scale for this. So we'll see how this it looks for scale. It's kind of the UVs are pretty messed up. Can you show gameplay for this game? Looks kind of interesting. Yeah, sure. Let me export this real quick, and I can show you a little bit of it, at least what I have available in this level. Trying to make sure that I'm exporting the right one. All right, so I think that scale of a window is definitely better. Yeah, I still need to make some adjustments, but I think that should work. All right, so any scout, let's actually do a little bit of gameplay since I have some places around here that I can like walk around, and I'm just gonna try and add a couple of like a couple of enemies, have them patrol around a little bit, and we'll see if I can dispose of them best as I can. And I'll show you how the missions are being kind of conveyed to the player, how the player gets the missions as well. And yeah, let's take a look. So first of all, let's do enemy. To place a couple of these enemy spawners here, and another one here. Let me see if I have a navigation. And thank you for asking because I was planning on adding some of the enemies around this area for a while, and thankfully with people asking me things on the stream, I get to also do some of the stuff that I'm planning for. All right, so let me check to see if I have a navigation mesh bounds volume, which is it's only over there, so let's make that a little bit bigger. Just gonna make it so that it includes the town. That should cover it, I think. All right, so where were we? Over here, we have the enemy spawners. Let me set them so that they do a patrol. So let's see, I can maybe make one of these guys patrol since we just made this area. I'm gonna try and make him patrol around here. And so let's do maybe patrol around a building. We'll see how that works. So let's grab, that's number 3, number 2, number 1. Hopefully I didn't introduce any bugs recently. So we'll, I think last time I checked, the patrolling was working just fine. So this one, we'll kind of have them hopefully not fall into this undeveloped area over here, but okay, so one of them is going to be there. And then let's do one more over here. And one more over here. Hey Zetor, hello, hello, welcome. Hopefully I'm saying that right. That's an interesting way of writing it, nice. All right, so let's do, I'll just use one of these guys for now. Let's see, which one is this one? This one is 4. And 4, and this guy, just gonna, actually just gonna have him hang around here. And his status is gonna be just hanging out, standing. All right. Let's do a quick test and see if what breaks or what gives. Let's try this out real quick. That is if that guy spawned. Why didn't he spawn? Oh, I'm wondering if, let's see. I think this was one thing that I needed to fix is how the enemies get spawned. But if this doesn't work, I can show you in the test level what's going on. Oh yeah, so as far as the goal of the game, so the game is a single player action adventure video game, and the way you enter it is through this. As you can see, there's this line here, and so what's going to happen is, as it happened in many games, there's like a plane that's crashing, and it's gonna you can control it, but so it flies along this line, and along the line you can pick 3 different spots to jump out of. So depending on the your jump point, the the starting missions are going to be different. So if you jump closer to this facility here, you're going to get a different set of missions in the beginning than you're going to get if you jump closer to the town. Now they're all going to converge after a few of the beginning missions, so they're going to converge into kind of a, it's called like a single line, right? And so the game is going to continue from there. And so you need to, once you get into the world, you're going to start getting missions, and that's you're going to discover what actually happened in this world. There's of course some baddies, and you're going to need to. Um, so and it is not more multiplayer, any Scott. Sorry about that. It's I think 1 out of 2 games nowadays is multiplayer, and I don't play multiplayer games. That's the other thing. I wanted to make something that I normally play, and you probably see some similarities with Far Cry, Days Gone, if you played any of those. And those are the types of games that I like playing. So yeah, no, it's just a single player game. And of course, myself being just one person working on this, adding multiplayer along with storyline, that will, yeah, it'd be very hard to do, unfortunately. All right, so let me see now that we were looking at this. I want to see, um, so I want to see if, what am I doing wrong as far as enemy spawner? I should be doing it. I'm not entirely sure why it's not. Yeah, I'm gonna try and like spawn this a little bit higher up. Um, yeah, and uh, and it's Far Cry 5 for me. I've looked at some of the other ones, but never really. I'm not sure. I wouldn't say that I didn't like them, but Far Cry 5 was the one that I played like I was a kind of a completionist, I would say. And the environment combined with the amount of missions, the fun behind everything else. I'm not going to compare this to Far Cry, but yeah, this is kind of the type of environment that I like. So I'm guessing the end, uh, I want to make something that I like to play. Uh, yeah, Purge, Far Cry 5. That's exactly it. That's the one. That's the one that I'm talking about. Far Cry 5 is. Oh, hey, there's the guy. I guess he spawned now. So he's going on to his little trip, and the other dude. I think it's just that he was spawning below the map. Oh shoot! I guess he saw me. Well, so now that at least in the current state of the action, he's not very threatening, and that's unfortunately I need to fix that animation. But like right now is just a matter of like doing some, and yeah, it's kind of taking a little bit longer to load, but it's just a matter of the kind of the regular the fist combat. Since I don't have any weapons, I need to spawn something real quick. Though I think I might need to fix some of the um and he wants a hug. Yeah, the the animations still look a little honky, so that's something that I need to fix. Let me add a weapon real quick, and hopefully we can finish this guy a little faster. The Also this stuff here, need to set it to his looping, and unfortunately I didn't set these up quite right. So let me try going like this. This is path 1, 2, 3, and let me do this one over here and this one over here. So we'll see if he follows along with that. So let me add, I'm gonna just add the bow for combat stuff. Excuse me. So because I think with the bow is, I've liked the bow mechanic the most from like all the weapons that I've ever used in video games. For whatever reason, the bow was the one that I really like. So I wanted to have that because it's also kind of rudimentary and somewhat available, especially in this case where, weapons are not really that too much of a thing. So, oh, and I mentioned that I wanted to show, so this is kind of how you get the missions through this little tablet. I'm still debating whether to hold it in hand or attach it to your wrist. And as you can see, there's like a little bit um, of a compass on there as well. So I'm trying to keep the UI as minimal as possible. And yeah, so as you can see, there's also like the mission along with the directions to it and the inventory, So right now there's like a pistol, the gas mask, and the binoculars. And I think I cannot recall. Okay, so the bow was number 2. And I think that guy is like patrolling around for quite a bit. All right, so there he goes. I'm thinking he's gonna go. Oops. Okay, that's a good test because he got stuck in some kind of vegetation. And it looks like I might have broken the... Ha! That's an interesting little issue there. Somehow I might have... Oh, you know what it is? I forgot. Bear with me for 1 second. This is an oddity, and I'm not sure if it's an issue like an engine thing, but it seems like the the procedural foliage volumes, a, they generate overlap. Um they generate like overlaps, And what that might cause you if your weapon uses overlap to check for stuff, it's gonna have troubles. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I didn't see some of the message. In Sweden, you can go to a group of people wearing all black. Oh my, that guy. Yeah, that's funny. VDS was Unreal your first major game engine? No, actually, it was CryEngine, and that's where I'm coming from. So moving from CryEngine to Unreal was a great choice, to be honest, because there were a lot of things that I was struggling with in CryEngine, and their team being like a fraction of the team, and the community itself is extremely small, compared to Unreal. So it's very hard to find like answers to questions. I think the first day I moved to Unreal, I had a question about something like very obscure, very like literally 4 or 5 words were the question, and I'm like, I'm never gonna find that answer. First thing in the list in Google search was the answer to my question. As fuzzy and obscure as it was, I was able to find something. So yeah, I kind of got to learn some of the concepts in CryEngine as far as components for character for actors and all that. But when it came to the nitty-gritty, like the actually making the game things, Unreal was what I ended up with. Rosie, can you show us the background for the HUD? What do you mean? The background, like the little device, or yeah. So let me quickly do the foliage. Hopefully, I still have them, and I can't remember if it was like overlap or so. Yeah, these ones generate overlap. Uh, growth. I can't recall what it was, if it was like overlaps or something related um, to collision. Let me pick all of them up and see if I'm just gonna bump them off the ground like this. So that way I'm hoping that it's not gonna interfere with the character itself. Oh, the device. Yeah, yeah. So I can show that to you in just a second here. Any scout, can you make like a developer mode thingy where you can spawn a special gun and cheat codes? Yeah, I could. I could. I just didn't get around to. Well, if you mean like in the game itself, yeah, it's doable. I just didn't really do it because I didn't really feel that I had a need for it, to be honest. All right, so let me see. Also, I wanted to check another thing here. Since we're looking at this, why did that guy get stuck in here? Oh, well, that explains it. This might do it. This little collision is what I think might have gotten him stuck. Yeah, maybe for a future update, but again, it's definitely something for testing, right? So if I was to test something out, that definitely could be it. All right, so let me one second, Rosie. Just wanted to check on see why this collision is acting up. Why would that be stuck like that? I'm wondering if it's like the scaling. Is it doing something weird when it comes to scaling things, which is kind of odd. try and kind of adjust this a little bit like that for now. Not sure if visually is gonna. Oh no, that's fine. Okay, so that's good like that. All right, yeah. Let me show you the device real quick and how that works. Where is it? And the reason I'm using this is because inside of the car that you'd be able to drive, this acts like a GPS kind of thing, you know. So you have it on the dash, and it depending on the mission that you have, it's going to be since you're not going to be able to when you're driving, you're not going to be able to look at your wrist or your little, pull up your device. That's just a kind of a in the car there. Yeah, so the device itself is just like this, and it has a widget on top of it, and the widget is what looks in is being populated with the details from my mission manager, and yeah, and of course, everything else is relying on the inventory to populate. Like this is another little widget with the health bar, and then another one here for the inventory list. So as you can see, these are all widgets. Um, this part here is assisting with the directions and like the compass side of things. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of an overview how that is. Um, oh yeah, that's really good. If you can get that kind of money, that's awesome. At least in the States, in dollars, that that's not gonna happen. Yeah, and the background is actually a, it's not a background. It's like an actual mesh. So on top of those, I've placed the widgets. All right. Well, let's see. So we got these. Where is this one? Tree foliage, small area. I'll lift this up as well. Thank you, G Games. All right, let's try that thing again. Again, you were probably, if you were watching on the left-hand side, I was trying to debug because I've seen this. I mean, I've run into this thing before, and I was trying to think, why can't I point the weapon? So let me try that again and see if this is what's gonna happen also. Yeah, so see it's the logs. Okay, so the PF logs foliage actor. Let's take a look at that. Logs, PF logs foliage. Let me see what's going on in this one. Yeah, so even collision presets custom. So it's set to ignore. It's fine. So yeah, if you ever run into that kind of issue, it might be due to these procedural foliage volumes. So I'm just gonna lift this out of the way. Let's try that again and see if I can get the weapon to not collide with anything. Hey Giant, can you explain how to break acid and how to use destruction and collision system for real-time fix? Great question. Unfortunately, I'm not using that, so I wouldn't be a really good resource for it. I believe there are a couple of people. Oh, now it's like the large rock. I believe there's a few people I know that I've might have seen that are that have done like some tutorial series on it. But again, it's been a while since I've looked at that. And yeah, it's a really cool subject. I've seen, videos and demonstrations on that people have posted with the breakage and stuff like that. Yeah, unfortunately I haven't done anything like that, so I couldn't help you. Sorry. All right, let's see. Is there any other ones are that are in the way? Okay, that's the last one. All right, so that's how the bow behaves, once you load it. And the on the bow right there, you have like a little bit of an arrow count. Let's see where that guy is. Was he able to navigate through all that? Or did he even spawn? Maybe he didn't even spawn. Because I'm sure he wasn't that quick to go all the way around the building. Yeah, I need to address the way the enemies are being spawned, because I think he might have either spawned before the level was actually loaded. So that's another thing that to consider. So let me try it again, because it worked the previous time. And again, so it's the timing between like loading the world itself and let's see, did he spawn? No, he didn't spawn this time either. Come on. I'm just gonna put him all the way up there. Let's just quickly search for. Okay, looks like they should have spawned this time. There he is. Okay, so let me try and pick up the bow. And we'll try and surprise him. Um, the one thing is I can't recall if I think I might need to redo the the damage on the bow, so I'm not sure if it might take him down. Let's load one of these. Oh, there he goes. Oh, actually it worked. Nice. And of course, headshots are headshots, so it's gonna take them out. And the other dude, I think he might have fallen through the map if I'm honest. Uh, this guy is the one that I just killed, and the other guy, well, the other guy should be here. Let me take a look. Where is he? Oh, it's this guy over here. Okay. And of course, it's missing some pieces, but um, so that's kind of a very brief uh, showcase of this. Let's see if can't recall if the rifle can't recall if the bullets themselves might are still working. So let me also place that in, and that's a great test for myself to to look at this. So let's do the rifle, and we'll do the pistol. So rifle and pistol. All right, so let's pick this up, and I think I might be able to show how they show on the device once you have them in the inventory. I think I have an icon for the pistol at the moment. I'm not sure if I have one for and I think I actually didn't use the right actor for this. So kind of this is how it looks, that you have, number one is the pistol, so you have that in an inventory and you can equip it. Um, so the pistol, yes, I still need to fix a few things. And yeah, most of the surfaces have their, I believe it doesn't have damage, so I couldn't shoot this guy until the cows come home, so to speak. But I think I might have run out of bullets. So it does get the impact. It's just I don't think it does damage, and I think I just ran out of bullets. All right, so now the guy saw me, and he's gonna start chasing me down. So the next work for this is gonna be him like actually taking out the rifle and shooting at you, and not just blindly following you, looking like it's about to hug you, and then trying to headbutt you. So that will be the next fix. Hopefully that should be here shortly. Yeah, it's kind of fun with the particles as well. Let me actually add the rifle because that one had a little bit better. You could actually shoot it on auto. Let me see. And that should have been it. Oh no, I think I didn't. I used just a regular rifle. Let me try picking this one up. And usually, like the fun part is shooting the water. Like that was one thing that I don't know for whatever reason I enjoy doing in like video games is shooting the water. Again, I don't know why, but oh, and I guess it's still receiving decals, so this one should not be receiving decals. And this guy, okay, yeah, I guess okay, so I guess, oh, that's good. The bullets are doing damage. Excellent. I forgot if I actually turned it off or on. And that might be a little too far. I'm hoping, oh shoot, I forgot about the fall damage. My bad. I um I was thinking that I've disabled the fall damage, but it's still in place. Oh, yeah, this is how it looks on the water. On the water and going above water. You get the little separation line there. All right, so let's try. I'm gonna try and use the rifle again. For the impressive gameplay of the particles, the water impact on water, or the bullet impact on water. Sorry, I've been talking for way too long. Oh, Annie Scott, thank you so much for stopping by, and yeah, hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Whoops, whoops. The guy is chasing me down. Let's see if I can like get onto some of these rocks here without breaking anything. Oh, okay, good. I did not die. Great success. How long have you been working on this game? So, VDS, I've started. So, if you count CryEngine, kind of the time spent in CryEngine was about, I would say maybe 4.5 years or so, which wasn't time wasted. I'm not gonna, knock on CryEngine. I did learn some things. But after that, moving to Unreal, so I had to start from scratch, and giving that I had the learning curve to learn Unreal. I guess I would say I started on this about 5 years ago, so 2018, 2017, 2018. Yeah, but again, part-time, so I mean, it's not full-time. let's. Oh, actually, I don't know if. Oh shoot, I think I might have forgotten something here. Let me see. Yeah, I know it's a long time, but it's I do, it's harder because it takes longer when you work by yourself on something. At the same time, I enjoy it more because I get to do everything. And it's the hard part about it is that um, if you were to work with somebody, I think what's difficult is um, commitment, like, and that was one of the things that I've always had. Uh, I I've always held back on asking somebody to work with me because I can't commit to a certain amount of, this week we're going to do this, this, and that. But if my work week is busy, I'm not going to get to everything. But if the other person is, maybe focused on this full time, then, my work is going to fall behind. So that's why sometimes it's tough when you do this part time as a hobby to to involve other people, So it's yeah. Sorry, Rosie, could you import your assets? Yeah, of course, of course. A lot of the assets, actually, maybe not a lot. A lot is a big number, but a good number of the assets that I use were made originally for CryEngine. So I've just imported them into Unreal because they were all made in Blender, so exporting to FBX was pretty easy. I just had to redo some things when it came to textures. All right, so I'm still back to trying to get some water splashes. Sorry. Oh, thank you, VDS. I'm really happy you like it. And in the end, that's one of the things that I hope people will like the game. Are you using water plane for your water? Yes, the water itself is a water plane, and we'll go swimming for a little bit as well after I have my fill of shooting the water. I'm hoping I'm not gonna die. That's the yeah. All right, let me just move the player closer to the water. So that way I can show you kind of the swimming mechanics as well. Excuse me. I'm just gonna move the player or I'm gonna move the player closer to the water, or maybe let's just do it like this. I'm going to do get this one and create a ramp, which is funny. And that doesn't really work. I'm just gonna sculpt the terrain. Yeah, so the water is a combination. Like the water is really a Frankenstein of things. It's a Frankenstein from the aspect of the material uh, to interacting with it and being able to swim above it or dive, and then the post-process volume that happens underneath the water. And that's, yeah. Jaxie, me and one of my friends are working on a game with no skill whatsoever. We have a solid project, but gotta learn how to code. Sounds like a headache. It's everything that is difficult. I think everything that is difficult is worth doing. Of course, if it's not life-threatening or anything like that. But don't worry about it. I mean, I think a lot of people might get discouraged because it is difficult. I'm not gonna lie, it is difficult. But once you got some of the concepts down, programming is not that hard. So you just need to, I think, to me at least, once I got down the concepts of programming, also object-oriented programming because that's what you want to do. I think it's going to be pretty easy. And I mentioned this is also if you're gonna look at tutorials, try and get through tutorial series, so that way you learn. Where's the thing that I sculpted? I thought it was around here. Oh yeah, there it is. So, and I'm hoping that this is gonna make a splash, but it isn't. Well, that sucks. I was really hoping that. Oh, there it goes. Why doesn't it not do it closer to the water? Uh, so Jax, Jax, see, see. Hopefully that gives you a little bit of motivation. I mean, it's definitely not going to be easy. It's going to give you headaches at time. It still gives me headaches, but I would say just stick with it. And there's a lot of already built-in functionality on the marketplace, and I do use some of it as well. But I think it's going to be, it's also good to have it in your kind of your repertoire, the ability to tell people that you can code or you can like use blueprints and stuff, right? Oh, I'm wondering if it thinks that I'm in water. Whoa, that was so weird. There's some weird things going on at the moment. Okay, let's equip this again. Hmm. Well, I might have to show it to you on the next on the next stream. But yeah, I was saying that let's do a little bit of swimming here. So in here, once you're like inside the water, and I can just quickly show you. Yeah, third person is gonna look weird because I don't have the animation, so I had to just adjust the animations. So it does look a little bit weird. But first person, everything is quite okay. And once you look down, you're gonna dive. So basically, you don't need to press a button like I've seen in some other games. You need to press a button to dive. Here, you only need to like look up and down, and so now we're just gonna swim up here to the surface. There we go, and we can just continue swimming. So yeah, well, as I was saying, if you look down past a certain point, then you're gonna dive. And looking back up, there we go. And then you're just swimming. And that's I think supposed to be a bird. It's not a whatever that thing is, which looks kind of weird. Um, So Frank Ford, how to make GTA game is modeling and texturing a lot of stuff for lighter point cloud or photogrammetry. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like it. A GTA game, it's a huge project. Like, um, I mean, if you think of it, I think if you look at the credits, like I looked at the credits at GTA San Andreas at the time, and there were like hundreds of people involved in the project like that. So depending on how big your team is, it's totally possible to make something like GTA. But I think if it's your first project, because there's like quite a lot of people that go into this and they want to make a GTA game or like a Far Cry game, and unfortunately they end up quitting because they kind of hit the reality of, the project is complex. There's so many mechanics they have to implement. And yes, you can start off with a lot of already pre-built mechanics from the marketplace, but in the end, yeah, it's a lot of work. As far as modeling and texturing, you can definitely use photogrammetry. I like to use photogrammetry when it comes to textures and some assets. Like I do have some assets that are photogrammetry, but not that many, and I usually retexture them. So, because a lot of them are going to come from different regions of the world, and they're not going to have this kind of the similar textures. And I usually just retexture the photogrammetry stuff. Lighter point cloud, yeah, so I think that's interchangeable. Lighter point cloud and photogrammetry. I guess it depends on your budget, and if usually you're gonna end up with like high poly kind of count with photogrammetry assets. So you're gonna need a pretty beefy computer to run that stuff. Um, but if to make a, I think if this is your first exposure to games, I would start with something simple. Like I mentioned, like a tutorial series on, how to make a shooter from scratch. And it just shows you, how to implement like the weapon, shooting, like montages to reload the weapon, maybe interacting with the weapon, picking up the weapon. Because those might sound like simple mechanics, but there's a lot behind it. So yeah. Jaxie, thanks for anything from man, appreciate it. Yeah, oh, totally, totally. It opens a lot of doors. And you might, and they're interchangeable as well. Like of course, each language is going to have its own kind of intricacies, and you know, C++ is with the pointers and all that. Java's doing its own garbage collection and all that. So it's, yeah, but in the end, the concepts are the same. Yeah. Pavan, I have AMD Ryzen 5 with only Vega 11 graphics, 16 gigs of RAM. Can I make a game like RGB free? I don't see why not. If you can run PUBG, you can definitely make one. But again, the team behind it, I believe it's a pretty big team, so it's tough to make it by yourself unless you spend a lot of time on it. So, and you have some years to work on the game. Rosie, how did you implement let me see, this little damn, oh, visual. Yeah. How do you implement the visual effect coming out of the water? Well, so the water itself is, it's got a post-process volume here, and the the post-process volume also controls this little blurry, this little kind of, yeah, I guess it's blurry, blurry line as you come out of the water. And that if you're interested, what I have used for this, I believe on the marketplace is called a waterline. And so it's let me see if I can find it for you. Where is that? Waterline. Yeah, so it's this one here. This is what I use. As you can see it, and it's got this already built in for the effects. The water surface is a material I have myself, and underneath the water is what comes off of this shader, and I made some adjustments to it, of course, so that it works with my project. But yeah, this is what I used. There is also a free tutorial, and it's I think also free project files from I believe Marvel Master on the waterline. Let me see if I can find that for you. One second. me see. Marvel Master or Unreal Master? I can't remember what Marvel Master. Oh yeah, here we go. So part of the learning was also through this. Um, and he also provides the files to the project, which is awesome, like from through here. So hopefully that gives you an idea of some of the pieces that I used in my water material here. Cities, yeah, I'm a concept artist and I use Unreal a lot for VizDev. Oh, thank you so much. Well, yeah, I wish I'd had the time to make more of the tutorial videos. Unfortunately, there is very little thing or very little videos nowadays that have not covered what I was thinking of covering. And videos made by people that are, they work in the industry, they're professionals. I'm kind of like a hack to some extent, like um, I have a friend that likes to say, I know enough to be dangerous. So, yeah, uh, I do have a couple of other tutorials in mind that I was never able to find a decent tutorial for. And but again, they're pretty small. And I'm trying to find some time to make those as well. But yeah, appreciate you have stopping by. And if you have any questions, Discord or whatever, feel free to ping me. I can at least try and show you some of the way I've done it. Might not be identical to how some other people do it, but at least it works for me. So yeah. Oh, thank you, Jesky. Uh, oh man, I think I'm butchering your name. My apologies. It's an action survival. Oh no, sorry, not it's not a survival game in terms of like a survival game that uh, every game out there is nowadays. It's an action adventure game, and you start the game through. This is the map here. I'm surprised that it actually moves so well, to be honest. But yeah, so this is going to be the playable area. It is about 2 by 2 kilometers, maybe a little bit less than that. But you start the game. This little line here is like the plane crash that you're gonna, it's been used before all the games. So but you do get 3 points where at which you can jump out of the airplane, and depending on the jump point that you chose, you get different missions at the beginning of the game, and they're all gonna converge into one mission a little bit later on. And you're gonna end up having to figure out, through these missions what has happened here. Sorry about that. Hopefully, I didn't blow anybody's eardrums off. And yeah, so for example, if you choose to drop near the town, and actually, let me see. I'm gonna try this. Maybe I can show you how that works. Wondering if I have a drop point anywhere. So I think this one's one of the jump point. So let me start the game into like 'cause right now I've been starting it in dev mode. So let me try it in like start it in actually play mode and see if I can show you a little bit of how that looks. Hopefully, again, between all my iterations, I have not introduced any errors. So let's take a look at this. And I can at least show you, how it looks once you fly the airplane, and hoping that it still works, and I don't need to go back in and fix stuff, but it so it happens. It might perform pretty poorly, but see. Did I not? I thought I chose campaign. I thought I set this button up to start the game. Is it in the demo level? Oh man, my bad. I was really hoping that I could show you this. Um, but apparently it did not. My bad, guys. Uh, I guess stuff that needs to be fixed. Oh man, sorry about that. I really wish that I was gonna be able to show you how how it how it starts, but yeah, the plane is gonna, like I said, the plane is gonna follow the spline, and once you get, this is kind of how it is. You know, once you overlap with this jump point, there's like a little bit of a slowdown in time, so that you can press, you know, the interact key and jump out of the airplane if you so choose to. If you uh, if you don't jump by the end of, you know, by the last jump point, you're gonna automatically jump here. So basically, if you don't jump at the other two at the other two jump points, uh, whenever you hit this one, you're gonna jump. Uh, so the game is gonna it's gonna take over from you there. So yeah. Oh, thank you, Jaxie. Um, yeah, I really hope people will enjoy it. That's the main goal of it, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah. Anyways, so a couple of things that we've tried today. Some things that I'm gonna need to fix. So I'm gonna be doing that hopefully this afternoon, tomorrow morning. But that's gonna be it for today's stream, everyone. And thank you so much for stopping by. I I plan to do another one tomorrow, same time, just so 1 p.m. Eastern time. That should make it, I think, 6 GMT. And hope to see you guys tomorrow as well. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you then. All right. Thanks again for stopping by, everybody. See you soon.